and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sure. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Brian Cruz?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Paul? Here. Kalinowski?
Here.
Dean Cruz?
Here.
Okay, on the meeting agenda for tonight, under presentations, we have Mike Zicola here with the Networks Northwest Community Planner for presentation, and we also have Eric Thummel here, Executive Director of the Manistee Recreation Association. Under communications and announcements, you have in your packet notes. I think I already gave those to you earlier, but from the meeting held on February 22nd with the City on Rebuilding US 31. Monthly report from Operations Services. Item B is the monthly sewer report. Item C, the DDA Director's Report and minutes from the February meeting. Item D is Board of Review minutes. Item E, minutes from the Building and Grounds Committee of February. Item F is the Planning Commission minutes and public hearing minutes from February. Item G is the Zoning Administrator's Report. Item H, Personnel Committee minutes of the last meeting, and also two items there for consideration and approval. Item A, approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Paul Olin, our maintenance person, effective June 1st of 2024. Item B is consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Tammy Shimke, our Secretary / Water and Sewer Billing Clerk, effective July 1st of 2024. Elections Commission is not met. Item J, Fire Department. Jim has his report in front of you. And then item K and L, the Zoning Board of Appeals and PEG have not met. Under new business tonight, we have item A, opening of sealed brush collection bids. Item B is consideration of approval of AT&T ILEC Business Local Calling Service for a fax line. Item C is consideration of approval of a presented amended wages, salaries, charges, and fees resolution for 2024-2025. And I would like to add to that, and I gave that copy to you tonight, and that is the agreement for legal services with Troposphere Legal PLC. So if you'll add that under new business as item D, and if there is nothing else, no other changes, additions, or deletions, we need a motion for approval.
I so move.
Support.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Kaczynski to approve the meeting agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Under the consent agenda for tonight, we have item A, the minutes of the special meeting held on March 25th, 2024. Item B is the financial reports. Item C, approval of Township General Fund expenditures, which includes the fire department, and those checks are numbered 41365 through 41444. Accounts payable total $27,434.22. Payroll total $16,427.55 for a grand total of $43,861.77. Item D is approval of water department expenditures. Those checks are numbered 3220 and through 3231, and they total $34,400.79. Item E is approval of the sewer operating expenditure expenditures, and those checks are numbered 1230 through 1232, and they total $1,369.99. Item F is approval of the monthly ACH payments to the state of Michigan and the IRS in the amount of $5,984.72. Item G is approval of the introduction of an ordinance to amend Chapter 31 of the Charter Township of Filer Code of Ordinances by adding Article 78 to establish an overlay district covering parcels on the Lake Michigan lakefront, to provide regulations relevant to lakefront properties, by amending Article 5 to add and delete certain new definitions, by increasing the requisite setback of fences for pens, corrals, or similar enclosures in the medium-density residential district, by changing certain sections to include the term parcel, by amending Article 10, Section 31.10.1070, and Article 37, Section 31.37.3703, to clarify regulations relating to accessory structures in waterfront yards, and to include a new accessory special use to permit sales of goods at roadside stands not produced on the same land as the stand, and to repeal all ordinances in conflict herewith. And item H is approval for the township clerk to attend the MAMC Clerks Conference in Traverse City at a cost of $400 plus accommodations. If there are no changes, additions, or deletions to the consent agenda for tonight, I would entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make the motion. I'll support.
Motion by Kolonowski, second by Brian Cruz to approve the consent agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any public comment tonight? Okay, then we'll move right into presentations, and Mike, you're up first.
All right, good evening, everyone. So kind of a quick presentation tonight, not presenting very much, actually just kind of talking through some things with you guys. So I'm going to go back to my previous employment with the county when I was a planning director. We had a question, we were getting a lot of people coming to us and saying, hey, our township's really interested in doing zoning services with you guys. You know, what could that look like? Do you have the capacity to do so? Those types of questions. So when we were doing the master plan, one of the questions that I really wanted to have answered, and I put it in our RFP, was how do government officials, mainly you guys, township boards, planning commissions, those types of things, actually feel about collaborative zoning and coming on with the county under that umbrella. So with that, the question was put out, you know, hey, let's have a survey and we'll go out and we'll ask them exactly how they feel. So we first wanted to come out though and not just do that, but offer an educational piece and have a little bit of a conversation and give you guys a chance to ask questions. With that, collaborative zoning in the way that the county would like to do it would be a single zoning ordinance. And with that, what they're looking to do would be, you guys would keep your zoning districts, you would set your setbacks and have that all set, but what it would look like would be everyone would use the same zoning ordinance as far as like definitions would be the same, plan unit developments would be the same, the processes would be the same, the penalties would be the same. And that would be a model that we would look to replicate throughout the county for anybody that wanted to come on for zoning services contracts. And then so, you know, we wanted to ask that question to you guys tonight, so that's why you have the survey in front of you. There's a couple other models out there that exist as far as county-wide zoning goes. One of them is the county just does it and they have a zoning ordinance for the other county. My understanding is that's not what the county is looking to do. And then we have the current method, which is what we do currently, which is you guys have your own zoning ordinance and we just take it on as contracted services, or not we, the county does. It used to be we, but still getting used to that, guys. So, But with that, we wanted to ask a couple of questions in here because we're kind of hearing the same things throughout the county. When I was at my time there, it was like zoning administrators are lacking. There's been not many people that want to take on that responsibility and job. Planning commissions are getting harder to set up. People don't want to participate in that. Zoning Board of Appeals, the same thing. Townships are struggling. Villages are struggling with having individuals that want to sit on those government entities. So with those questions, we wanted to go out and say, well, what does the real picture in the county look like? So you are one of the townships that we're going to be I think you're my first one. Well, you are my first one. I think you are the first one though, because I meet with Brown on the 10th. So we're going to be asking the same question in the same spreadsheet and then collecting that information and putting it into the master plan. So for the county to say, hey, here's a real picture of what it actually looks like. And so with that said, do you guys have any questions on what this might look like or collaborative zoning in general?
Mike, I guess one of my questions, how's this going to look when there's such a range of, the way townships are set up in Manistee County is, I can see some similarities maybe in residential zoning things, but there's such a difference between, for example, between Filer, let's say, and Brown,
right,
or some of the other townships. There's some similarities, of course, between us and, say, Manistee Township or Onekama Township, but how would those vast differences be accounted for? That's one question I have. Another question is, has this been done elsewhere in the state?
So the way that Manistee County does it is actually really unique. When I was, again, planning director, we were contacted by other counties trying to replicate what we were doing here as far as contracted zoning services with individual townships. And they asked the same question that we're actually asking here tonight. Well, was there an effort to go to a single planning or a zoning ordinance to kind of reduce staff time and reduce costs? And the answer was, well, no, we hadn't got to that point yet. Really, we were just kind of trying to build it from the ground up. So let me answer your first question. It would be, you would keep your zoning ordinance, your zoning districts. So
Right.
Individual communities would have, you'd have one ordinance with just a ton of different zoning districts in there. So that would be the idea behind it. So you would be able to identify what you'd want your waterfront setback to be, but waterfront setback would say the same thing. So yours might be, you're going with DEQ on Lake Michigan as part of an overlay. That might be 65 feet, I think it is. 75 feet. And so, that's pretty standard, honestly, throughout the county. Manistee Township does that as well. Onekama does that as well. Arcadia, I'm not sure about, but they're mirroring the DEQ on that. So you could set your waterfront setback though in your individual districts. Let's say you guys, let's say Arcadia wanted to do 100-foot setbacks. They wouldn't be held to the standard. It would just be waterfront setbacks means the exact same thing. And what that does is when I was in my time with the county, there was 8 different zoning ordinances I had to look at any given day. And so if you asked me a question, I couldn't just come off the top of my head with it. I had to stop and say, I have to look it up because there's 8 of them. There's 8 different definitions. There's 8, and they all mean something differently. So the idea would be, hey, we could save money by if we just had one. The zoning districts can be the same, but throughout it, waterfront setback means the same thing. So when I look it up, it means the same thing throughout. So that's kind of how you would keep your identity on that. It has obviously not been laid out how that would look like if you guys were to go to a collaborative zoning, like a collaborative zoning board of appeals or a collaborative planning commission. So that's something we're not asking tonight. We're just saying, hey, is this something that you're interested in? Is this something you want to be joining in on? But that could look like you guys have one representative from Filer that goes to a planning commission, and you place one person on the zoning board of appeal for anybody who participates. with the county in that collaborative effort. So it really would reduce the amount of people that you're trying to find to set on that. But that also, on the flip side of that, would be you would have less control over changing your regulations within your individual township. So you have to keep that in mind, because then it takes a majority vote. So of those people that are holding that individual zoning ordinance. So it's a little bit of give and take there to work collaboratively, but also to try to reduce costs. One other thing we're also doing this is trying to push this out to a survey of similar to builders and developers in the area. You know, I can speak from what I think's going on out there from having conversations with them, where they don't really appreciate, you know, having to try to, you know, hurdle, or they might not work in, like, you know, I work in Filer, I don't work in Manistee Township because I don't know the regulations. And so that's a question we want to find out as well, is like, hey, is this really detrimental? Are you not working in this other community because they're all different? And so that's another question we'll be asking as well to developers in the area. So when we're looking at this, you know, one of the things that some of these questions that you're in here, especially the last one, is really important, number 7, which is on a scale, like, how interested are you? You know, with us, we're just trying to gather the data. We're not necessarily, you know, concerned about the results. So we want to come out here and at least present it educationally to you guys, and then, you know, answer your questions about it, because it is kind of a new topic. Terry, you asked me another question. Has anybody else done this?
Yeah.
Wexford has joint planning for people who participate into it. They had county planning, and the county, I can't actually speak on what happened, but I know that they had townships that shrank back down, took it upon themselves, and jointly came up with an ordinance. And so they do actually have a joint planning commission that works together in this facet. So, and there are other ones out there, but like Emmett County is completely county zoning. They don't have individual township zoning at all. So
That's quite rural, though, I believe, isn't it?
Emmett's actually more popular, or it's got more population than Manistee County. Emmett County is Charlevoix, that area.
Okay. Is
And they're
Petoskey included in Emmett? Or?
they're up there, so I think they are, but I'm not 100%. I'm still kind of new to the region up in that area, because my area is kind of down here. So, but it's Charlevoix, Petoskey. Yes, they're up there. Emmett, there's Charlevoix County, and then there's Emmett. I think it's actually Petoskey. Yeah, so that sounds right.
Anyone else have any
My
questions?
question is, more surely, is there something because we're a charter township that we have to maintain our own planning commission and zoning board of appeals?
I don't think you have to, but, you know, I'm not the lawyer.
The Planning Enabling Act would, just because you're a charter township, would still allow you to file, like, to jointly be able to do that. So there's nothing in there that would say you have to do it. I think a charter township allows you guys to maintain your own police and fire department, as well as protects you from annexation from cities and stuff like that.
Okay.
So.
Anyone else?
All right, so I do have this survey, guys. I'm going to stick around, and when you're done with them, if you can just pass them down if you don't have any other questions. I would like to take them with me, because we're going to start getting the data together that we collect. So,
You can pass these around.
and take your time. I still got it, so. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Next we have Eric Thummel with the Recreation Association.
Good evening, thanks for having me here. My name is Eric Thummel. I'm current director of the Manistee Recreation Association. I don't know if you've had the other directors show up to visit in the past 2 years. I'm actually the 4th director in the last 4 years, but I'm planning to stick around for a while. I've really enjoyed my time. I've been a teacher and coach at the high school for years, and It's my first year working with the MRA, and I'm really enjoying it. So just a little background on the MRA. This is it's been 82 years since we formed in 1942. And we've got, this past year we had 16 different programs at least that I could count up. Just finished our basketball season, and we're getting ready for soccer season to start. This past year, let's see, what did we add in? Had a disc golf clinic out here. I think it's called Acorn Hills. It's right out on Link Road is the name of the one. And that was a nice addition this year. And we started a popular adult kickball league in the fall as well. We had a few townships asking us if there's going to be anything for adults, not just kids. And had a nice turnout in the fall for adult kickball. And we're always looking to add new programs. We've got a couple in the works right now that we're planning on. But our numbers have been increasing this past year. Numbers hit a low during the pandemic. But we've got more kids out and moving again this year, and so I'm excited. Soccer, we're up about 50 kids from last year. So numbers are looking good. And thankfully we've had good volunteers as well, because we are, all the coaching is volunteer run. And we've had a good turnout this year. I haven't had to, knock on wood, haven't had to beg too much for coaches yet this year. But the MRA doesn't own any facilities. We're totally reliant on municipalities to give us locations that we can play or practice, whether it's school fields. Let's see, we did basketball at both Trinity and MCC, along with some of the MHS courts when we had availability. Tennis courts, the Payne Aquatic Center at the pool. All sorts of locations that we're reliant on. We're always looking for new places where kids can play and participate. And we're reliant on appropriations and donations and sponsorships to make our budget each year. And so we're thankful for Filer Township being a consistent supporter, one of 7 townships in the county area in the past year that supported us, along with the city of Manistee. And just as a little sign of appreciation, got a little ball here. I've been doing this at all my visits I've gone to. All the townships have supported us. Go ahead and put your initials on here. This ball, this is going to go right out. The kids are going to be using this next week at practice time. Just as a reminder of, where it's coming from, where they're getting their support from. The businesses get their name on the shirts, but the townships don't get recognized sometimes. So I'd like to thank you so much for your support. And for your support, one of the things besides allowing children in your township to register at a reduced rate for sports leagues, we also have had scholarships available for families that are below a minimum threshold for involvement. So, because we don't want to leave any kids out, we don't want money to be an option or a reason why they're not participating. And we only gave out 18 scholarships last year, totaling just under $800. But this year alone, I think we're already, it's only April, and I think we're getting close to that number already. We're trying to get the word out that there's availability. We want kids participating. We want to see active children in our community. So looking ahead to the upcoming years, or what we've got coming up, like I said, we've got some more programs. We'd like to add some more adult recreation. We've got some more camps and clinics that have been suggested. And also we'd like to do some more collaborations with local groups. Just last week during spring break, we also we joined in with the Armory. They did a week of spring break planning for the kids that stayed in the area and didn't head south. We had a soccer clinic that I thought was going to be a disaster. We only had 2 kids there 10 minutes before the clinic, and we ended up with about 50 kids at the end. And then we invited them over to the Briney building where our offices currently are located, and we had a shoe swap. And I got rid of at least, I'm guessing, about 40 pair of shoes that we had net go out the door at the end. We got some shoes back in too, people trading shoes, but soccer shoes that they could use for the soccer season so that the kids aren't without the equipment. And that was a real successful program. We're happy about that. Another thing I'm looking forward to next year is having busing again. We've got a deal lined up to get kids that participate in the ski program. My kids did that. They just hopped on a bus after school and went up to Bristol. They haven't had a bus since the pandemic. So
I'd kick it if I could.
I passed it to someone at a meeting and it bounced them in the nose, so I'd rather you don't. So at the start of the year, I sent out a request for appropriations to your clerk regarding funding for 2024. We appreciate all the funding that you gave us this past year. Our request this year is a little bit larger, but you're up on activities and you got more kids participating in the past year. We had 158 Filer Township participations from 80 kids last year, so they average about 2 participations per child. And I think you've got that information. I have another copy of that here if you'd like. I can drop it off with you. So it doesn't have to be tonight, but if you're willing again to support us, we greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure the families in the area would appreciate it as well. So thank you for signing that ball. Soccer practice starts this weekend. One team's going to be kicking this one around. Have you got any questions for me?
Did you quit teaching?
I didn't quit, I retired. I've got 30 years in, and that was going to be it for me. So I could go on a story about that as well, but the state changed the law on what retirees could do, and I'm just now able to coach again. I was not allowed to coach in the fall by state law. So that was a new law they put in. I don't know why, but I'm helping out with some of the things because I like to keep connected with the kids up there. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and I apologize if I don't stick around, but it's one of our last nights of swim lessons that are going on. I need to go get some certificates over to those kids over to the pool right now before 7 o'clock.
No problem, Eric. Thank
Thank you very much for your time, and thank you for your support.
Appreciate it.
We can copy this and put it in the agenda for the next month. This information that I just.
Oh, yeah. Got a couple here. Okay. That's all right. Take your time. Got yours?
It's on the end.
Yeah, I know.
We can give Tom his Steggy and he can complete it. We can get it to you later.
Yeah,
if
if you
that's
just
all
want to
right.
email it to me, that's fine.
Sure. Okay, while Dale completes his questionnaire, let's move on. Under communications and announcements, you do have in your packet the notes from the October 22nd Rebuilding US 31 meeting, which was at the city. And I believe we will be probably meeting with MDOT at some point here, just for Filer. And I seem to recall that they were looking at May for us, but I'm not sure that that's written in stone, so I'll keep you posted. Item B, the Seventh-day Adventist Church letter is in your packet, and I did forward that to Sheriff Gutowski. And that takes us to department and committee reports. In your package, you have the monthly report from Operations Services on the water services. And hopefully you noted the last item there on the monthly activity summary about the leak that was detected in one of PCA's lines, a 6-inch line. So it'll be interesting to see in the coming months how that changes. Item B is the monthly sewer report from the city in your packet. Those numbers continue to be fairly consistent. Item C, you've got the DDA's minutes from the March 5th meeting and the director's report. Item D, the board of review minutes are in your packet. You know what, there is one item, I back up to the DDA director's report. There's one item in that packet that I believe we need to take action on, and that's resignation on the DDA. That's in your packet, that letter's in your packet, and since the township board...
Refrain from voting on that, but...
Well, we need to take a vote to...
Well, I think we have to give him permission to refrain from voting.
Right, that's what I was just going to say. We need to take a vote to allow Tom to refrain from voting on that. So I'd make a motion that we allow Tom to refrain from voting on the DDA resignation. Is there a second to that?
A second.
Any discussion? Okay, motion by Walker, second by Brian Cruz to allow Trustee Hachinsky to refrain from voting on the DDA board issue. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. So you have a copy in your packet of Tom's letter of resignation to the DDA board. Is there a motion to accept that letter of resignation?
I would make it with regret.
And I will second that also with regret. So a motion by Ball, second by Walker to accept Trustee Hachinsky's letter of resignation from the DDA board. Any discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Okay, we were on item D, Board of Review. Those minutes are in your packet from the March 5th meeting and also the March 11th and 12th meetings. Item D, the Building and Grounds Committee minutes from the March 18th meeting are in your packet. Item F, Planning Commission, the meeting, the public hearing meeting minutes of March 19th are in your packet, as is the regular meeting minutes from March 19th. Item G is the zoning administrator's monthly report, which is in your packet. Item H, Personnel Committee minutes from March 25th are in your packet, and on that, item A is consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Paul Olin, maintenance person, effective June 1st of 2024. I will make a motion to approve the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase Paul's hourly wage.
I'll second.
Motion by Walker, second by Dean Cruz to approve the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Paul Olin, effective June 1st of 2024. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. B is consideration of approval of the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Tammy Shimke, the Secretary and Water and Sewer Billing Clerk, and that would be effective July 1st of 2024.
I'll make the motion.
I'll support it.
Motion by Kolonowski, second by Hachinsky to approve the Personnel Committee's recommendation to increase the hourly wage of Tammy Shimke, effective July 1st of 2024. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item J, the fire department, fire chief's monthly report is in front of you. And Jim, is there anything you wanted to add to that? Maybe mention the meeting on
Nothing to add,
yesterday?
unless somebody has a question.
Did you want to talk at all about the meeting yesterday, or leave that for a future report?
I think we probably should do that for future reports. We met with the city yesterday, in the city and the township, having to do with collaborating efforts with our fire and EMS departments. It was Mr. Walker, myself, and the city manager and the city fire chief and the supervisor from Manistee Township, and we just got together to start talks on some collaborative things that we can do to make things a lot easier. Everyone's hurt for personnel and trying to make so that we can serve the public a little bit better. So those talks are going to be ongoing for the next few months. So we'll keep you posted as the items come up. So other than that, I think that pretty well covers it.
Yeah, it does.
Jim, how many members we got right now?
Pardon me?
How many members do we currently have?
10.
Any other questions for Fire Chief Esposito? Okay, thanks, Jim. New business, item A, sealed brush collection bids. We only had one bid, and that was from Carl's Excavating again. And it looks to me like those prices are pretty consistent with last year's prices. So not a huge change. I'd have to go back and look at last year's, but
I did the figures that I could compare, were the same.
yeah.
But not every one of them was listed last year, so. And again, it depends on how much brush is out there.
Yep.
Let's hope we're catching up. Year after year we pick up. Let's hope we're catching
Growing
up.
those limbs,
Trees keep growing.
yep.
I'll make a motion, we accept that bid as proposed.
I'll support it.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Hachinsky to approve the bid from Carl's Excavating, as noted in your packet for the annual brush pickup. Any discussion?
And just a date, when do we plan on having?
Yeah, I'll have to get with Scott on that. He's, last I talked to him, I think he's still gone on vacation. But usually we shoot for that first week of May.
I see him today, he's in town.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah, I
Okay.
waited till him by the cemetery.
Okay. I'll get in touch with him and we'll get a date coordinated, but we shoot usually for that first week of May. And who knows with the way the weather's been.
Yeah.
I've been ready to say maybe we can do it earlier this year because it doesn't bring snow. Okay.
We need to vote.
Yes. We've got a motion. If there's no other discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item B is consideration of approval of AT&T ILEC for business local calling service and a fax line.
This is a written proposal. Normally, they just would renew it year after year after year, but now they're going to, making us vote on this and sending in a signed document that we want to keep this line.
So we already have it, we're just renewing it.
Right.
That's how much difference?
Well, it's not so much the dollar difference, it's the fact that now we have to sign an agreement yearly rather than just, you know, it's been in place.
What is the dollar difference though?
Well, what do we pay for the fax line? I don't know. We could look at the, it's several $100s a month, a couple $100.
Okay, but it's probably not a major increase, I mean, everything's gone up.
Well, this is showing 120 per line on,
Well, there's fees and
yeah.
taxes and,
So I mean, it's within normal.
bills.
It's within a couple hundred.
There are enough alphabetical order there. You can find them. There's several AT&Ts there.
This one there,
Probably that, give me that.
that might be it right there.
I had a minute, so I got these ready for the audits. So that's why they're in. Well, this is the sewer one. Maybe it didn't, it's not paid here yet, I guess, so.
Well, it's just a renewal, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it went up a little, it's fine. Don't need to look.
Maybe on here. $135.75 total. The service is $96, the rest of it is taxes and fees. The sewer one, the AT&T mobility is $247 a month.
I'll make the motion to go ahead and approve this.
I'll second that.
Motion by Kolonowski, second by Dean Cruz to approve the AT&T ILEC business local calling service for fax line. Any other discussion?
Are you allowed fax anymore? Everything is,
We get some, yeah.
An occasional fax, not too often, but
And I have to use it for different things.
I think I had a request to send something via fax here about a month or two ago, which was the first time I've used it probably in, I don't know, 3 or 4 years,
Not
I'm
often,
guessing.
but every so often I get something that needs to go by fax.
Okay, so we have a motion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Item C is consideration of approval of the presented amended wages, salaries, charges, and fees resolution for 2024-2025.
I'll make a motion, we accept the amended version.
I'll support it.
Motion by Brian Cruz, second by Paczynski to approve the presented amended wages, salaries, charges, and fees resolution for 2024-25.
I have some discussion.
Yes, discussion.
Okay. We bill our commercial monthly, right, Shirley? Our commercial customers in the
Water and sewer,
Yeah, sewer are done monthly. Okay, so
Well, everybody, or just?
just
those
the,
along
he said
the highway?
commercial,
just commercial.
Okay, okay.
And then we got the residential due quarterly.
right?
Well, in our quarterly ready to serve fees, and I think I talked about this before, it's $19.39 for a 3/4 inch water line. So we should break that down and we should have that. This says quarterly. We should have it in our notes here that the Commercial is billed monthly and have it broke down so that there's no confusion to the fact that these people would be paying $19 every month on that fee. Should be separated. Can be the same amount, it's just a monthly. I know before we just did it quarterly, so everything is written quarterly, but now that we're doing by the month for the commercial.
It could be broke down for monthly customers, that would be, 1/3 of that amount. That could be another line item on here.
Yeah. All we'd have to say is the commercial is broke down into 3 parts on a monthly bill.
Yeah, I'm sure when she does it, she divides that by,
Yeah.
and only bills them for 100.
I'm not looking to change the fees or nothing, just
Yeah,
have the wording right.
I'll make that note.
Okay. And then, of course, another thing on that, and when we receive money to be deposited, that check is made out to the township treasurer. Shouldn't that be made out to the township treasury or to the township account rather than to
For the
the
water
treasurer?
department?
Pardon?
Are you talking about water department?
Water
customers?
and sewer, when the money comes in.
It's made out to the Fowler Township Water Department.
Well, I saw some checks where they were made out to the Fowler Township treasurer.
It's very possible, but if it's a water bill, they would deposit it in a water,
Well, I understand that, but shouldn't we cover ourselves and not have checks being made out?
well, we can't go to everybody's house and stand over them when they're writing out
No,
their check.
I mean, even if it's a one big, like there's maybe a $2,000 check here that needs to be deposited, that was collected from a total of bills. And that check is made out to the township treasurer and not to the treasury account or whatever, right? It's just a matter of wording again. Not that I don't trust our treasurer or anything, it's just when you see that. And there's one for the water and there's one for the sewer in there, in our packet here.
Yeah.
Just think about it and, okay? If you see it.
Well, I get them in the mail, and I don't sometimes know, so I have to find out, who it belongs to. Is he going to put it in the big account, our account, or is it a water or a sewer billing?
Okay. This must be a collective amount that's given to them, because it was, the checks that are in here is a pretty good sized check. It's not from one person, it's from,
Where are you looking?
continue and I'll find it for you, Shirley.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I know what Tom's talking about, but I'll let him find it, because I know I questioned you on that back a few years, and you explained it to me where it was coming from, because I didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, if he points it out to me,
Yeah.
ring a bell.
So, that takes us to item D, agreement for legal services with Troposphere Legal PLC. And this came up at the Planning Commission meeting, February Planning Commission meeting, I think the 21st, I believe it was. No, I'm sorry, the 18th.
Oh, this is
And
a payment.
at any rate, that
This is a reimbursement for,
with the new
when I do a payroll.
TES project, the conversion to biomass from coal, burning coal and that, there's going to be some changes. There's obviously things that need to be put in front of legal eyes to make sure that, and we cannot use Richard Wilson, of course, because of conflict of interest, which they noted at that meeting. So we need to have an attorney to represent the township like we did the last time when they came in, I believe it was 2017, looking to do the conversion to gas-powered turbines. We got legal representation from outside Manistee. So that's what this is for. And sure,
At that time, we had a firm in Grand Haven
yeah,
that helped us because Richard Wilson had a
conflict.
conflict with the Township. And now that Terry got this, we'll include it in the planning commission packet. But we do need to, there's questions that are coming up about different things. So we need to have somebody that's going to be able to answer the legal questions for us. So
what, yeah, this will go in front of the planners too, and what we've talked about maybe is having board approval for this contingent upon acceptance by the planning commission for this representation. And then they'll take a look at it at this month's meeting.
it's sounding like maybe it could be quick, that, you know, we
Yeah.
would need somebody to answer these questions, and then again, it may be months, I have no idea, but we're here, and we'll see.
Does the planning board accept it first and then we okay it?
Well, this way, if you say yes, that you're okay to it contingent upon their approval.
And they're saying no against us?
They would say, no, we don't want that firm, you
Well,
know,
that
try
don't
to
look
find
right
us a
then.
different one.
That don't look right then.
Well, my concern, Brian, with approving this tonight, contingent upon their acceptance, and we had that discussion, you know, about getting legal representation after that planning commission meeting, and they agreed with that. But we won't meet again until the first week of May, and things could move rather quickly. Don't know, but in the event they do, my concern is that we have somebody in place, locked up, ready to go if we need them.
We do have a history with this, the attorney here, not with the firm, but with that attorney.
Yeah.
He helped us with the oil and gas days of things when we were going through that about 20-some years ago. Jennifer's familiar with Chris, so am I. I don't think any of the other planners were around at that time.
Yeah, this is, this Troposphere Legal PLC, that is Chris Bizdock, and I spoke with them Monday morning, and then he sent me this email on Monday evening, but he said he would be the primary attorney in the firm dealing with this project. And like Shirley said, he did represent the township back a number of years ago.
If there's no discussion, I'll make a motion that we enter the legal services agreement with Troposphere Legal PLC.
Contingent upon this planning commission acceptance.
Yeah. I hope we would. Well, Brian, we were at the planning commission.
You shouldn't get trumped by them. It's not the way government works.
So they have the authority to make that, they can't enter into a contract on their own, the planning commission.
Right, so. it's
No,
up
they
to
can't,
them.
yeah, it's gotta be approved by the board.
Right, so we're approving it first and then letting
This is
them,
who you're using.
we're approving it first, letting them,
Say if they want this.
say if they don't.
So if
So
they
they're
say they
trumping
don't,
us?
we'll find somebody else, and I'll be back asking for that one.
I got no problem with this, I just don't like the way it's going about. They should be doing their planning, what they're getting paid for, then it comes to us to accept it. I mean, I'm fine with this outfit, I know we used it.
We can wait for another month.
They said they don't have a meeting till May anyway.
No, he's saying that next May is when we meet here.
Yeah, they'll be meeting later this month, but, you know, unless we call a special meeting to approve it.
Yeah, I'll go for it, I don't go for it, but I'll do it.
Well, I'll second the motion.
Without the consent of the
just-
planning commission.
No, just the way you got it, so they can look at it, and
Okay.
Yeah.
we'll still have the final say.
So, motion by Achinsky, second by Koloneski to approve the agreement for legal services with Troposphere Legal PLC, contingent upon the Planning Commission's acceptance of this attorney. Other discussion? And I guess, you know, Brian, I see your point 100% because, yeah, they cannot hire an attorney.
Yeah.
Let's do our.
They can make a recommendation,
Right.
Right,
but the board has to
approve.
approve
Yeah,
it.
and that's what they would do. If they say
And
no to
so-
this, I'm gonna ask them for a recommendation, and I'll be back to you with that in May.
So we'd be approving it, and they're saying they trump us, the planning board.
Or we could not approve, you know, we could do the
Well,
song and
normally-
dance and not approve who they.
Normally, we approve what they recommend, though. That's the way it works.
Right.
This is half backwards,
Well, my motion should state that
Yep.
we hire these people and hope for the graces of the planning commission, but this is effective from the board.
I'll tell them that it's okay with you if this is who you want. We
I don't
can
want
get-
to if or and in my motion. I want to affirm that we are hiring them and letting them know that that's who we hired. If they will support that.
Yeah. Normally I would ask for their recommendation, then come to you, but because of the way the month is falling here, and Terry just got this today.
So my motion would be to enter the agreement for legal services with Troposphere, period.
And Dale, are
Same
you-
second, yes.
You're
I'm
okay
still
with
second,
that?
yes.
Okay, so we have a motion, an amended motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Okay, so how, you're not going to consider what they have to say about it? That's gonna be their lawyer. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And if they say no to that?
Get
They
rid
still
of,
have to come to us to hire somebody.
get rid of the planning board.
And we,
That's something we'll deal with when that happens, if it happens. Okay?
yeah, I can't see it happening.
No,
To be honest with you.
I agree, I'll vote on that motion.
Dale, we got a motion to support.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Okay. All those in favor of the motion on the floor signify by saying aye.
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 No,
Opposed?
I'm opposed to that.
Okay. Motion passes 5-1. I think. Okay, that's it. Public comment? Anything else to come before the board tonight? Dean, you got anything?
No, I don't.
Dale?
No, I don't either.
Shirley?
No.
Brian? Tom?
No?
Okay, and I gave you, all of you, a copy that just came in today from the city on the contamination from the former landfill, and so I will leave that in the office here. There's a map in there, and there's a number of pages, I think 11 total pages, so if any of you want to look at that, or get copies of it, that's available, okay? And that's all I have.
Was that a report from Fishbeck on that?
No, this, well, I don't know, I didn't have time yet to go through all the pages in here. This letter came from Bill Gamble with the city, the city manager. And,
I would at least like a copy of the map.
yeah,
I can pick it up some other time.
well, I can make copies tonight, if you want to hang around for a couple of minutes. I can make copies tonight for you. If there's nothing else, then a motion to adjourn.
Make
I
that
so
motion.
move.
I'll support.
Motion by Dean Cruz, second by Brian Cruz to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.